And we're back, and I'm Larry Sinclair, and this is How Not to Be Sued for Libel for Dummies. In this episode, we're going to address one example at a time, but we're going to do video clips on each example because I think it's easier to stay focused. On this clip, let's go with the number one false, libelous claim thrown at me anytime there is any public interest in anything I've had to say about 2008. And that would be, oh, he was offered $100,000 to pass polygraph. He failed 2 polygraph tests. The polygraph was administered by a world-renowned polygraph examiner, past president of the American Polygraph Association, and PhD with 30,000 polygraph exams completed under his belt. Now, that's what's published, and that's all false. Yes, I did indeed take 2 polygraph exams in February of 2008. Yes, Edward Gelb was a past president of the American Polygraph Association. Edward Gelb is not world-renowned. In fact, Edward Gelb is probably one of the most controversial polygraph examiners in the field, as made clear and stated by his peers, no less, even at that very time, on a private message board used by polygraph examiners to engage with each other outside of the public realm. Edward Gelb is not a PhD. In fact, one of the issues that has plagued and haunted Ed Gelb for years was the fact that he was lying about even having a valid PhD. His doctorate diploma that he presented and displayed in his office actually was purchased through a diploma mill. He never actually earned a PhD in any accredited school whatsoever. He did not have 30,000 polygraph exams completed under his belt. His own peers even asked who came up with that number and decided that the website whitehouse.com put that up to try to give their promotion or their website more credibility. Ed Gelb is actually quite well known for being probably one of the most dishonest polygraph examiners there are in the field. He is known to be the polygraph examiner that you can pretty much pay for the result that you want. But no one wanted to actually put the truth out there. Yes, Ed Gelb did indeed issue a 1-page report on each polygraph claiming that the exam showed deception. He also, along with whitehouse.com, put out that a second examiner by the name of Gordon Barlin out of Salt Lake City, Utah, had conducted a blind study. And what I mean by blind study is that a blind study is where another polygraph examiner reviews the charts, the data, the computer scoring without knowing the individual's name, anything about the purpose of the exam, basically having no knowledge whatsoever of the subject itself, just simply viewing the charts and the data and the graphs. Well, that too was a lie. Gordon Barlin himself in 2011 disclosed that not only did he not conduct a blind study, but that he flat out refused to be involved in any way whatsoever, and told Gelb and Parisi and Braddock himself without knowing everything there was to know about me. So, you know, it just goes to the narrative, I guess. Anyway, I had disputed, but no one bothered to ever say that, you know, the results are disputed. It was just blown. So anyway, in June of 2008, at a press conference in Washington, D.C., WhiteHouse.com, for some reason, I still to this day don't know why, decided they were also going to reserve a space and had scheduled a press conference to begin immediately following the ending of mine. And they had stated that they were going to bring and play the actual polygraph video that they recorded of the exam. My press conference ended, and WhiteHouse.com pretty much canceled theirs, claiming technical difficulties. In other words, they never held it and they never played the video. So, today people still repeat the lies from 2008. Despite the fact that since August of 2011, there is and has been available to anyone doing just a basic search, video that Edward Gelb apparently recorded of the polygraph without my consent or approval. And he chose to provide it to WhiteHouse.com to file in a U.S. District Court case that, surprisingly enough, was a libel case. Only this time the libel case was against me. Thinking that it would actually help WhiteHouse.com's case. But apparently no one bothered to actually watch the video before they provided the video to the court as an exhibit. So it turns out the video of the polygraph confirms exactly what I've said from day one. The polygraph, in fact, was passed. There's no doubt about that. Gelb is right there on the video admitting and telling Robert Braddock, the computer has me passing. But see, Gelb couldn't release that. Gelb was just, just watch the man, watch the video. His bias and his outright dislike and hatred just for me would not allow him to be ethical at all. But that's not the best part. The best part is the two of them, Robert Braddock, who, despite in 2008 claimed that he had no affiliation with any political party, campaign, or candidate, turns out was in fact a Democratic campaign consultant, an active one, I might add. But that doesn't matter. This is about libel. So, they're on video discussing how they're actually going to release the false claim that I failed both polygraph tests. So, as an example of how not to be sued for libel, on this particular piece of libel, if you want to refer to the polygraph, rather than publishing he took and failed 2 polygraph tests in 2008, or that it was performed by a world-renowned, respected polygraph examiner with 30,000 completed exams under his belt, why not, rather than tell the lie, and you want to at least sow some doubt in people's minds when you write the story, perhaps say, while it was reported that he failed a polygraph performed by Ed Gelb in 2008, which he disputed at the time, video of the polygraph actually confirms that Sinclair did in fact pass the polygraph test, and that Ed Gelb and WhiteHouse.com lied. Okay? So then you can say the polygraph was taken and failed, but you're not saying that I actually failed a polygraph as fact, because you're reporting the fact that the video showing that I passed, you're acknowledging it's there. There's evidence there, and you're clean. Instead of saying that Ed Gelb is a world-renowned polygraph examiner, a PhD, 30,000, just say polygraph examiner Ed Gelb. Because if you say world-renowned, 30,000 polygraph examiners, PhD, then you're lying. So, there's one example, my friends, of how not to be sued for libel, especially when you're publishing and printing claims that I, Larry Sinclair, the lovable, kind, compassionate, old, white, crazy, cocksucking faggot, failed a polygraph when I didn't. And that's this episode of How Not to Be Sued for Libel for Dummies.
You gotta be the man.